Okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على مبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن سار على نهجه واتكى بسنته إلى يوم الدين وعنا معهم بمنك وكرمك يا أكرم الأكرمين. الحمد لله. أولا السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us another opportunity, another evening, or another night to have our fiqh class, lesson 2, Bismillah Kareem. As you know, previous, if I just do a quick, reminder, where with the last classes we had was the structure of fiqh, or the Islamic law, and the basics, and what is the main purpose of of fiqh, right? Today we will still comment on purification. We're still in the topic of purification, and alhamdulillah we have finished wudu, but there's things that follows with wudu in case of we don't have water, and that we call is a tayammum. All right, tayammum, it is for whoever I can say it. Tayammum is made for the person that comes to a time where he have to do ablution, but he does not have water. Scholars, they say it comes not only if there is water, it can be also safety. Maybe the water that you want to use is near to a wild animal. You can't get closer to that well. If you get closer to the water, maybe that animal might eat you. Second thing, it can be war. The place where you had to make wudu in the time of Rasulullah, people used to have wells. All right, there wasn't like tap running in every houses. Okay, which means the time of the war, even they will use a structure like when they go for battle of jihad, they would say, look, the Muslims would say, Ya Rasulullah, let's make the water behind us, that the mushrikeens or whoever fighting with us can die thirsty. It was a kind of a structure, which means ulama say even in a time of war, if you go reach for that water, you'll be killed or you'll be harmed. It's permissible to use a tayammum. All right, I'll go into it, how it's tayammum, how it's make, all right? But I just want to give you the reason, what comes in tayammum in case if there's other things upcoming. For example, also, if there is illness, right? As I mentioned earlier, the previous night, that in case of, we don't have, the person have injuries, all right? And he have a fear that if he touch water on that injury or that wound, there might be a sickness or illness that he's have a fear of. Okay, then Rasulullah said he can use tayammum. How do we do tayammum? Right? What can we do or what can we use for tayammum? For example, most of us, we know the tayammum, we use it, the sand, the land, clean sand. We take our bare hands, our 10 fingers, we put it on top of the sand, all right? And then we take it, and then we wipe it, right? On our fingers, throughout, every finger, every corner of it, we put it in, all right? To make sure that we have cleaned, we have rubbed it very firmly that there's no space left, all right? Some ulama say after you take it up from the sand, they say, try to get the sand out of it, okay? Then you wipe it. Imam Shafi'i, rahimahullah alayhi, he says both ways is permissible, to clean up the sand, all right? Just to get the sand out of your hands and then, put the fingers in and make it, firmly. In other form, when you put on top of the sand, some says give it a 2 second, okay? Make sure you touch the sand very firmly also. You rub it, your hand and the sand must have that, that kind of a small, fight in between. And then they say, take it and then rub it. Otherwise, you can also use a way of very easy, right? One time touch, right? You don't need to go also deep. All these things that it's just ulamas have, make it more extreme to make it sure that you have touched the sand properly. After you do that, okay, what you do is the second time you go back again to the sand. Okay, this time you go again to your face. Okay, Bismillah. From where I told you the last time, where your hair ends, the trim, you go right through, right to your beard. Okay, if you are men, if you're not women, no problem. Go through, finish. There's da'if, or I can say it, authentic hadith where they say you can go with your feet. After you do your face, you do your feet. No, that's not permissible, and is not authentic hadith of Rasulullah. Rasulullah said, he said, when an insan does not have water, nor he is have fear for his body to touch water, or there's a war, or there's any type of fear for his life or his body, Rasulullah says he can go for tayammum. And Rasulullah said, gave the method. He said, touch the sand, then wipe it, okay, one time, okay, but make sure the sand, the hands are rubbing each other firmly. Then you go again to the sand, okay, and then now this time you go for the face. All right. After you finish, your wudu is complete in the form of tayammum. What else can we use in case if you don't have the sand? The rock, mashallah. Wall, what else? You and the sisters can throw out, no problem, inshallah. The rock, the wall. Also, we can use what we call, you see the well, all right? You see, they said when that mud gets, very firm, it's not wet, but when it gets harder, like I say, you can use it for tayammum also. Also, things that you can't touch or you can't use for tayammum. Now we know what we can use for tayammum: sand, wall. Wells, what do you call the mud? Yes, the hard mud. Clay also, all right? There is things that we can't use tayammum for, such as, can you give me an example? What we can't use? Don't be scared. Okay. Mashallah. Metal we can't use. Glass we can't use. Another thing? Come again? MashaAllah. Wood we can't use. Metal, glass, wood. One more left. Anything that can burn into ashes, we can't use for tayammum. Paper, plastic, all these things. The sheikh that wrote this book, he mentioned about the bottom, he said, also food items. Alright? Okay? Which means even if you say 3, at the end of the day, it's come to the wood also. Okay? Which means that's other things. Anything that can burn into ashes, number 1, wood, metal, and glass. These are the 4 things that we can't touch and say we can use for a tayammum. What we can use is, as Uncle Quran first said, was wall, clay, hard clay, and what do you call what do you call this thing that we use for the well? Afwan. Cement. The hard cement. When the cement comes tight, right? You do with tayammum. Okay. Now, how long can a tayammum keep you? Ibn Kathir, rahmahullah alayhi, says, if you go in a salah, you made your tayammum, you made your salah, Allahu Akbar, whatever salah it is, you go into salah, you say Allahu Akbar, and you're busy in your surahs or Fatiha, and someone called and said, the water has arrived. Immediately you leave your salah. Immediately you go out of that salah and do your normal wudu, your normal ablution. The reason for, they said, was all the other things, but in case they say if you finish that salah, for example, I finished the salah, while I was in salah, no one called in to say there's water, or the enemy have left, or the animal have left, or whatever. And I finished my salah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, assalamu alaikum, I finish, and they say water came or whatever happened, their salah is accepted. Not accepted, I mean that salah has been done completely, which means you don't need to go back now to make wudu and come repeat the salah. No, salah has been done. But the ulama say, while during in that salah, water came or all the necessary we needed came, then you have to stop, go out and do your wudu in the normal way with water, as we mentioned the other night, previous night, and then you repeat your salah. If your salah is completed, the water came, whatever, even ulama say, even if you haven't heard, that salah is completed. For example, I'm in the salah, I'm reading, most of people, mashallah, they have in that khushu', that firm in the salah, that when they go in salah, it's hard to hear around. They're more focused on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alright? If you haven't heard what the news was, the good news that the water came, whatever happened, and you've completed the salah that way, ulama say that salah is completed. The next salah that will come, make sure you do the normal way. Right? Which means, let me just, if I refresh your mind one more time, tayammum is made for the necessary in case if there's no water, if it's war zone, if we have a fear for our health, our body has different type of wound that if the water touch, or the doctor said don't take this band off, if the water touch is a problem. Tayammum comes there where you can use it and you touch one time the sand or the rock or the clay or the mud, whatever you name it, you touch it dry, you wipe it out the sand. If you don't want to leave the sand, no problem, you wipe it firmly, alright, in between the fingers, alright, then you go back again one more time, straight to your face, right around, complete. Okay? Before you all do that, the main key thing is your niyyah. Your niyyah and your basmalah. Which means you made the niyyah, you found out there's no water, nothing, you made your niyyah that I'm going to do tayammum, and then you said Bismillah, and you performed your tayammum.
The extent of tayammum is once or twice later.
Okay, mashallah, jazakallah khair, I haven't forgot it. Tayammum, there's some ulama say 3, some ulama say once. Alright? But the most authentic hadith that repeated most time is that Rasulullah did once. Alright? Rasulullah did once. With the hands and with the face. Okay? Some ulama say no, in the time of most of the jihad's time, Rasulullah was doing tayammum. Okay? Also, some ulama also include to the incident I mentioned the last time was where the Sahabi said, "Oh, Ya Rasulullah, we were on the sea, and we had a fear that if we use our water, we might go thirsty for wudu, and we used the sea water." Some Sahaba said no, they didn't use the sea water, they made tayammum. All right, and some ulama even asked, they say no, the reason of the tayammum it's da'if because when you're on the sea, what is the closest thing? It's water and what? Wood. Because what is the boat made out of? And the wood, you can't make tayammum with it. Which ulama say that hadith is da'if because of the authentic one is that they used the sea water, and they asked, Ya Rasulullah, is the sea water halal? Rasulullah said yes, it's permissible because what's in it is halal to eat. Alright? Which means that shows us that Rasulullah said the water, as we mentioned in the previous class, that to do sea water with wudu is permissible. If I come back to my tayammum before I leave, any question? Because I need to go move to the Hooves. Any questions? Yes?
What about the arms?
No. There's no authentic hadith that came on the arms, legs, as I mentioned earlier. There's no authentication came on that says, wiping the feet, wiping the arms. No. There is people, they will go, the exaggerate.
Like foul parts.
Come again?
Foul parts, for example, your feet, your head.
Okay.
This is now been put aside now to perform tayammum.
Okay. The reason I say so is that there is 4 hadith that Rasulullah said repeated 4 times. Alright? All 4 incidents happen in the Battle of Tabuk, in the Battle of Yarmouk, right? And the Battle of Badr. 3 battles. And once Rasulullah he did it when he was by a janazah. Alright? 4 incidents. All the 4 incidents, the Sahabas that repeated the hadith was Abu Hurairah and Anas ibn Malik and Hudayfa. Okay? 3 of them repeated the hadith and they said, we saw Rasulullah touch the sand, wiped his hands, alright, and touched again once again. went straight to the face and covered up the face. And they said Rasulullah asked Bilal to make iqamah. Now you go back to a hadith where you will see that Rasulullah did his right arm, Rasulullah did one leg, things like that. But when you go back to the hadith, there's no authentic hadith that they will have that firm to say that, that's what Rasulullah did. But the most four hadith that came this incident has been authenticated by Imam Ahmad. Even himself says, Tayammum is one of the things that I don't have doubt in it. When it comes to Rasulullah, have he done it or not? Okay? Any other questions? Come again? Yes. Any other questions? Ghulam? Can I pass on? Okay. Which means Tayammum is that side. What's left now? Masjid Al-Falaagh, the wiping off the Hooves. As we had the last night, just a talk before. Hooves, as I said, the Hooves, it came from a leather. Okay, the time of Rasulullah, there was kind of a genuine leather they used to use, as today we also use. But suddenly now we see people are being more, very easy and wearing the normal cotton socks and wiping it. All right. I tried to check the mas'ala. All right, and I spoke to some ulamas and asked them, look, if we leave the leather aside, the cotton, and most of ulama said, look, we don't have an authentic, or a fatwa from an alim that says it's permissible to use it. All right, it's kind of two ulamas are busy fighting over it, which means my closest sheikh said to me, he said, Muhammad, best form is stick to the class that you're giving out, that they must use the leather form. All right, because it came on a hadith of Rasulullah that they said Rasulullah used to wear, before he wears the leather or the genuine leather Hooves, Rasulullah used to make a normal wudu. Our normal wudu we used to do. All right, when he does the wudu, he used to put on that Hooves that are clean. After he puts on, they say during out the day, all right, the 5 times Salah, which means we're starting from Fajr till to Isha. They say in between, if he would have a need of going to the toilet or his wudu breaks, Rasulullah used to do the normal wudu, and then when it comes to the khuf, he used to wipe it, the right leg once, the left leg once. Alright? And then Rasulullah even told his Sahabas, it can keep you 1 night and 1 day. That is 24 hours. And then the next day, if you're going to have to repeat the same procedure, you have to do from the beginning. Which means the musafir is different. 3 nights, 3 days. 3 days, afwan. Which means the musafir will do, if he puts on the first day, alright, he can keep that khufs, alright, that he doesn't need to take it off for 3 nights and 3 days, because his state is different to our state. We are Ahlul Bayt. We are, we are from, yes, we are, residents, alright? We're not travelers, okay? Number 1, khufs has a condition when you're wearing it, alright? The khufs that you're wearing, first of all, is it something that you bought it? Did you get it in the right way? Number 1, you didn't steal, or the money you bought with it was not a stolen money that you took someone, all right? Second thing is that the originally the made of it is not made out of things like the pork skin, prohibited things like the source of something like gold, things like that. It's not permissible. Things that it's not permissible to make out of. Like men are not allowed to wear gold and things like that. All right. As to general, when it comes to ibadah things, Rasulullah said, keep everything that's not halal, which means most of our clothes that we wear, it's originally from animals, like the sheep's, yes, and things like that, right? Which means they say in the times of Jahiliyyah also they used to use halal animal skin to make something out of it. I think even today, similar, all right? Which means the socks that you're wearing, the khufs that you're wearing, it have to be originally, the made of it have to be a halal made product, all right? Which means it doesn't come from a wrong, whatever. The money that you buy with it must be a money that, it's either your money or someone gave you. It's also a proper money that you bought, not stolen money or not the riba money or things like that. Okay. Third is that hooves must be clean. The first time you're wearing it, your hooves have to be clean. Okay. After you finish that procedure, what comes? The time I've putting on my hooves, two things come in. They say that two things must be is that you are not from a janaba, right? You know, the major purification, right? Maybe you had an intercourse, or maybe you had the dam, that you know, that whatever comes out through the private part, you have the main clean. It's just like a normal, you know, you woke up from bed, you clean, you made your wudu. After you completed your wudu, you put on your socks, your hooves, all right? Ulama, they say, when you put on your hooves, they say, when does it start your 24 hours? Here's the main thing, all right? When does it start your 24 hours? If you're musafir, when does your 303 days start? It starts, most ulamas agreed, it starts the first time that you do the washing, or the first time wiping. Not when you do the first wearing. It's two different, all right? Not when you wore, all right? Okay, that's not your first time. Your first time is when you wiped it. Which means I woke up this morning and put on my hooves after I made my wudu, and then Asr time, right? Fajr passed, Dhuhr passed. Asr time, I needed a toilet, I went to toilet, came back, I made my wudu. That's my first time my 24 hours will start. Alright? You can't count from your Fajr time and say, okay, it's now Isha, tomorrow morning Fajr. No. Let me take it out and, you know, put a new one. No. Your 24 hours starts the first wudu that broken when you are wearing the hooves. That's your 24 hours. Which means if the Asr is broke, tomorrow Asr, then I'll have to change that hooves.
So I'm not too familiar about the hooves now. If you go to the toilet, you have to remove your hooves.
No. You can wear it.
If some little drops unawares going on there.
Okay. There's a mas'ala, right? That they say, if you haven't seen it, kill the doubt.
Sorry?
If you haven't seen, all right, say for example, how can I give you? Okay, say you are in a position of in the toilet, all right? You haven't seen nothing, janaza, not janaza, what do you call, dirt touched on your, what do you call, socks or your clothes. If you haven't seen it, kill the doubt and continue. For example, I came in the masjid, all right? I saw kids running around here, all right? All the kids were below the age of 3 years. What do you know from there? That these kids, you know, they're not sure if they peed or something. Ulama, they say, if you didn't see that kids, they peed on there, you can perform salah there, direct. Kill that doubt out. What they're running away from is your waswas. Iblis to tell you, oh, you see, you saw kids here now, you don't know the masjid is clean or what. Just go outside and go make salah outside.
It means that you have to wear like slippers or sandals if you go to the toilet with the hooves.
Okay, Ghulam, the main thing is here, you can use that hooves no matter where you go in. Alright? The main thing is not like, once you remove the hooves out, listen, when you move the hooves from your body, okay, the hooves is cut out for that day. It's finished. For example, Fajr, you made Salah Fajr, right, in the masjid. You went to the toilet and you moved out and you put on the slippers and you went inside the toilet, that hooves period is over.
Okay.
You understand? The only time that period can only finish if you're wearing it. You can go in the toilet, you can go in a, in a masjid, in a work, in your way, whatever. The only time that hooves expiry time comes to is when you count the 24 hours since the time you've broken the first wudu. That's the time where you have to remove it and put the new ones on. Do I need to repeat it maybe? I want to be clear. I want you to understand also. Inshallah. Anyone?
You have to sleep with it as well.
Come again?
Must you then sleep also with it?
Yes. Because there's a Sahabi, radiallahu ta'ala an, I forgot his name. They said he felt a slip in between, that, you know what you call it, they call it, in between Dhuhr and Asr, right? Where Rasulullah said, it's nice to have a nap in between. He said, I felt the slip, Ya Rasulullah, do I need to pull out my socks and, you know, put the new ones? Rasulullah said, no. You start in that duration of 24 hours, one night and one day. Okay? Any other questions? As long as you have it on, then when your time has come to an end, then you remove out and put new ones. Before you put that new ones on, you make your wudu. Okay. One other thing that I want to add into it. This issue with the mashaf, the wiping of the hooves, it's complicated. Right? You will see people that will take, like how we make normal wudu, right? Their hands like the water gushing out, they take the hooves and they wipe it like that. No. The sunnah of Rasulullah is that when your foot is like this, and your hand is a little bit wet, it's to once on top of it. Not the bottom, on top. Okay? Once you wipe it on top, it's finished. That's your your right leg, and then your left foot. Once. Some ulama, they say that try to do it with your both hands. Right? Which means you wet it, okay? Right to right, left to left. Some ulama say no, keep to your right. Right? Wet your first right, and then wipe it your right foot, and then wet again, and then the left foot. It doesn't matter.
You don't wipe it downwards.
No downwards. Only upwards. Right? You do it that way. As Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah says that if the hooves, it has like a space. It's like almost like the gloves form. So you can put it in between until you see there's a dry spot. Okay, from the top. We start talking from the top. Okay. Some ulama say pull it up because the hooves goes up. Right, it goes a little bit up. They say follow it until where it ends to it. Right. But I never saw no authentic hadith that says go up to it where the socks ends. No, I haven't seen. But when the Rasulullah that they said it starts from the toes until they say where your leg ends to, all right? Which means, say for example, this is my foot, all right? Here, okay, here, where it ends, okay? There where you stop. Another thing is that Rasulullah he said he used to forbid the people that they Masjid Al-Falaagh, when they're wiping it, they use so much unnecessary water. Okay, remember. The reason we are running away from our deen is wasting. Okay, even your normal wudu, they say keep as much as you can, limit the water. Now when you look, some people say that when you look at Rasulullah's hand, it used to be like kind of small drops of water, small. Like if you think that there's no water on it, the hand's not wet, which means try as much as you can that you keep, just your hand wet, and then wipe it, that you can see your hooves, there's no way or no part or no portion is dry. Okay? Any other questions with khuffayn? Hooves? Okay. Another thing I will share with you guys. The tayammum and the hooves, there's no certain dua, no certain supplication is made for. Alright? Other than your niyyah and your bismillah. Okay? No other supplication, a specific supplication is made for. Okay? Even Imam Shafi'i himself says that he has no dua for it. Okay? Because most of the time, the du'as we recite, some of them Rasul haven't done it, but then ulamas have figured, look, it's a little bit necessary to do it. Okay? But in this form, tayammum and Masjid Al-Falaagh, the wiping of hooves, there's no certain supplication or certain du'as made for. Any other questions? Okay. Inshallah, our next class, the reason I stopped with this two mas'ala is that the next one we're starting, it's going to be ghusl. Ghusl, it's a long, and if I start, it's going to be, I have to use its own day. That's why I try to bring the Masjid Al-Falaagh, the wiping of hooves, and the tayammum before we reach to ghusl. Because ghusl, we're going to go a lot of stories in, inshallah. If I ended up there, I'm just going to give you, as I mentioned the last time, just short a reminder, inshallah, before I wrap up the class. Bismillah Kareem. My reminder today, inshallah, it goes to, our timing. The time that we have, mashallah, it just came to it. As I came to my reminder and you looked at time, mashallah. My reminder today is the importance of time. As Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, there's 7 things that Allah will ask you day of Qiyamah. One is your age, one is your health, one is your wealth, and one of it is your time. As the famous, saying that, al-waqtu kas-sayf, the time is like a sword. If you don't use the sword, it will kill you, right? The reason I brought up is that most of our time, if we come back from work, okay, from myself as Muhammad, we waste our time with unnecessary things such as our mobile, maybe talking about things that won't bring us to an end of the day any khair to it, or mashallah, there's people mashallah that have schedules, right? But I'm talking about the majority of the people. The minorities, mashallah, they have their timetable and everything slots, right? But what are we there to fulfill? Yarhamukallah. The most important, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, one of the things that my ummah will neglect is the dhikr, the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you look at the dhikr that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has put it on there for us, it's so simple, but it has a lot of rewards behind it. Okay? For example, every night when you reach home from work or maybe from gathering, whatever, you come home, just to recite 2 kalimas. Okay? And that 2 kalimas, I mentioned once here in the Tarawih, is that Rasulullah said, it's easy to say it, soft to say, it's very easy to say by the tongue, it's hard, heavy on the day of Qiyamah, the scale of Qiyamah, and that 2 words, Allah loves it. It's more beloved by His face. And that is, Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, Subhanallah al-Azim. The reason I'm repeating this is that to say it, it's easy. But the day you get used to it by your tongue, it's going to become something part of you. Alright? To call out people's name. You can't forget. If you come to your house, you won't forget your wife's name, you won't forget your children's name. It's easy to say it. That kalima will be so easy than the name of your kids and your spouse. If you keep repeating it. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam even said, even if you have that minor calamities, minor problems, minor things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ease it for you. Some ulamas went to the extreme to say that people who are in debt, people who are struggling with financial stories, Allah will make it easy for them. People that having struggled to get their rizq, right? For example, when I say that way, I don't mean that Allah is cutting your rizq, no. Allah will put you in challenges, giving you your rizq. He made sure that everyone, Allah will give you your rizq. It's guaranteed. But in which form? You'll see people are going through hard to get their rizq. They struggle. And some people come in very easy. Right? Which means, try, inshallah, bidmillah kareem, I'll try to repeat with you guys, inshallah. I'll also listen it to the group. The kalima is, Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, Subhanallah al-Azim. Before you do your dhikr that we mentioned the last night, right? When Thursday night, Rasulullah used to do. Before that, when you reach home, find out everyone is good, supper has been ate, alhamdulillah, everyone said, just put that phone away aside, put that television aside, just have that, just 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Show your Lord, your Almighty that, I have time for you, other than the Salah. Because this is farad. The Salah we're doing is farad. It's not something negotiable. No, you can't do it, you can't do it. But also show that extra that you're putting, that effort you're putting. You say, oh Allah, I'm trying my best. Also I'm trying to find my rizq in another form. Also I'm trying to please you at the end of the day. Second thing is that let's make dua for two people. Right? One is our family, our parents. Those who brought us this age, those who brought us in a form today when people say mashallah, ghulam, subhanallah, that's a very good person. Oh mashallah, Sheikh ASAD, mashallah, Muhammad, brother Muhammad. It's nice to say, but Who raised these people? You just name them. Those who raised them today they are under, they're below. You know, they are there. They're just waiting for only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mercy. Imagine if you there to make that dua, just to raise your hands and say, oh Allah, you have given me a special mother, a special father that brought me today here that I can't even forget my salah. Yesterday when you were born, you didn't born with your salahs. They made you to go to madrasa, they taught you, they showed you, they did the kalima with you, everything. Which means don't forget. They say, don't forget where you start from, the business, if I started from, cleaning, I won't forget where I started my business, right? Which means don't forget who was the people that, started from you from the scratch, who built you up from there, all right? Because at the end of the day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might forgive all the major and minor sins because of your dua that you are doing it frequently or maybe sometimes during your daily day, your routine. Because it comes where Rasulullah said, leave three things behind, it's going to be a sadaqah jariyah. One, it's a knowledge that you revere, right? Second is you do waqf, you pay a sadaqah that that continues like masjid, things like that. And last is waladun salih, obedient child that you leave behind. Even you would like today when you pass away, your daughter and your son to make the dua. You start first. Then inshallah it will happen. It will come to an end. It will come to an end when your kid will say, no, my dad used to make, I always used to see him, my mom and my dad, when they sat together, they used to make dua for their parents. Now it's my time now. It came to my time. Second person is your children. Children, today, every time I look in their WhatsApp, you see someone missing. And when you look, mostly it's young ones. And when you come more deeper, it's girls. Let's try to make dua for our children that Allah must protect them. Allah must keep all these calamities and all these problems that's going around, Allah to keep us safe. One day a guy came, we met there by the Belleville taxi rank. I was busy buying this hot dogs, right? Then he was standing aside, and then he was talking. He said, no, they're just taking kids by our neighborhood and things like that. But what's the funny thing? It's not a Muslim kid has been taken. It's always our kids. Why is it like a target? The guy that I'm buying the burabos from, it's a Muslim brother, mashallah. I gave him a very beautiful answer. He said, brother, it's not that, it's only the target. When a musibah comes down, it's not is a Muslim or Christian. Musibah goes to everyone, all right? But there's something that we slightly different from you guys, is that we seek refuge by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a beautiful saying. And it's true. When you start something and you say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, and you say, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, you're already in the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala automatically. Which means, I don't want to take much of your time. The main thing is that let's keep making dua for our kids. When they're leaving to school, when they're leaving to anywhere, we just make that dua, say, oh Allah, I left you in your protection. Because I know most of our kids, I think, my kids are still young, but I think the elders are sitting around, your kids are grown up now. Some of them are driving. Which means when you leave, I know that always the parent will have that pain, but that kid doesn't know. When the kid leaves that house, be the first thing you say, Allah, I've left that person in your hands. By my hands, it's done. Inshallah, Allah will not let you down. Inshallah, bidmillah kareem. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم إنا عبيدك بنو عبيدك بنو إمائك ناصينا بيدك ماض فينا حكمك عدل فينا قضاؤك نسألك اللهم بكل اسم هو لك سميت به نفسك أو أنزلته في كتابك أو علمته أحدا من خلقك أو استأثرت في ريب علم عندك أن تجعل القرآن ربيع قلبنا ونور صدورنا وجلاء أحزائنا وذهاب همومنا وأمومنا يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم ذكرنا منه ما نسينا وعلمنا منه ما جهلنا وارزقنا تلاوته آناء الليل وأطراف النهار على الوجه الذي يرضيك عنا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا وكره إلينا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان واجعلنا من الراشدين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله.